So, you ever look at a company's financial report? You see this massive profit number, but you still get that feeling like you're not getting the whole story? Well, today, we're going to change that. We're going to demystify those financial statements, peel back all the layers, and really learn how to read the true story that's hidden inside the numbers.
But first, let's kick things off with a big question, one that gets right to the heart of what we're talking about. Is a company that's making a profit always a good investment? The answer might actually surprise you, and it pretty much frames everything we're about to get into.
All right, let's dive right in. At its most basic level, the whole point of a business is to make a profit, right? That's the simple story. It's the headline number that grabs all the attention. And there's a very specific place we go to find out what that number is. And that place is the statement of profit or loss, or what you'll hear people call the P&L. Honestly, the best way to think about it is like a report card for the business. It covers a specific period, say a month or a quarter, and it just lines up all the money that came in versus all the money that went out, so you can see what's left. Simple as that. And the math behind it, it's actually pretty straightforward. You start at the very top with your total sales revenue. Then you take away the direct cost of sales. That gets you to your gross profit. From there, you subtract all the other operating expenses. Things like rent, salaries, marketing, the whole shebang. And what you're left with at the very end is that famous bottom line, the net profit. Okay, but here's where we get our first little plot twist. Seeing a huge sales number. Well, it looks fantastic on the surface, but it can be really, really misleading. Just because a company is selling more stuff doesn't automatically mean it's a healthier or more profitable business. Let's make this real with an example. Imagine a company decides to slash prices to get more sales. Now, in scenario one, they sell more stuff, sure, but their profit actually tanks. It drops from 10,000 Rand all the way down to just 1,000. Why? Because the little bump in sales just wasn't enough to make up for that steep discount. But in scenario two, they get a massive surge in sales, and that makes the discount totally worth it, pushing their profit up to 15,000. So it just goes to show you, a price cut is only a good move if it drives a truly huge increase in how much you sell. But look, tricky sales numbers aren't the only thing you have to watch out for. There are other, more sneaky factors that can just quietly eat away at a company's profits. Let's call them the profit busters. And one of the biggest profit busters out there has a funny name, shrinkage. It's the official accounting term for when a company has less stuff on its shelves than what its books say it should have. The inventory has, well, it's literally shrunk. And shrinkage isn't just about shoplifting or employee theft, though that's definitely part of it. It's also stuff that gets broken by accident, or inventory that gets damaged in a flood, or even fashion or tech products that just get old and become obsolete. Every single one of those things is a lost sale and a direct hit to that bottom line. So if we know that the headline profit and sales numbers can be misleading, and we know there are all these hidden costs nibbling away at the profits, how do the experts get a real feel for a company's health? Well, they have to move beyond those simple surface-level numbers. And that brings us to maybe the most important idea of all. If profit is just the headline, then financial ratios, that's the real story. Ratios are amazing because they take the raw numbers and they put them into context, which lets you do a much deeper, more meaningful analysis. For instance, check out these two major types of ratios. You've got profitability ratios, which basically ask, how good is this company at turning its sales into actual hard profit? But then you have liquidity ratios, which ask a completely different but just as critical question. Can this company pay its bills, like right now? And that's crucial because a business can look profitable on paper, but still go under if it runs out of cash. Okay, so let's get practical. How can we actually use these ideas when we're investing? How do we use ratios to spot a stock that might be a real bargain? Well, there's one tool in the Savvy Investor's Toolkit that is particularly powerful, and it's called the price-to-earnings ratio, or just PE ratio. What it does is it compares the company's current stock price to how much it's earning per share. To put it really simply,
It tells you how much money you, as an investor, have to pay for every single rand of profit that company makes. All right, let's put it to the test. Imagine we have two companies. Company A's stock costs more per share than Company B's. Just at a quick glance, which one seems like the better deal? Come on, be honest. Most of us would instinctively point to the cheaper one, right? But let's dig a little deeper. Now have a look at the full picture. Company A, even with its higher share price, is actually earning way more per share, a solid 5 rand compared to just 1 rand 67 for Company B. And when we do the math and calculate the PE ratio, the difference is it's massive. Company A has a PE of 10, while Company B's is all the way up at 24. And this right here is the big aha moment. A stock's price, all by itself, is almost completely meaningless when you're trying to figure out if it's a good value. You absolutely have to compare that price to what the company is actually earning. This chart just makes it crystal clear. For Company A, you're paying 10 rand for every 1 rand of its earnings. But for Company B, you're paying 24 rand for that exact same 1 rand of profit. All of a sudden, that cheaper stock looks a whole lot more expensive, doesn't it? Company A is clearly the better value here. Now hold on. Before you rush off and start calculating PE ratios for every stock you can find, there's one last really crucial piece of the puzzle. These numbers are incredibly powerful for sure, but they are not a crystal ball. I absolutely love this quote from our source material because it's such an important reality check. Everything we've been talking about, all this analysis, it's based on what happened in the past. It tells you where a company has been, but it gives you zero guarantees about where it's going. So let's do a quick recap of our new toolkit. We've learned to look past the headline profit. We know to watch out for those hidden costs like shrinkage. We've learned to use ratios to give a company a much deeper health check. And we've got a great tool, the PE ratio, to help us find relative value in the market. So here's the bottom line. Reading financial statements isn't just about doing math. It's about being a detective. It's about uncovering the real story that's hiding behind all those numbers. And now that you have the tools to look deeper, what story are you going to uncover next?